Have you ever wondered why sometimes, despite all your efforts, you just can't reach your goals? Why motivation suddenly disappears and your thoughts get tangled? Often, the culprit is stress, an invisible enemy quietly destroying your life. Stress isn't just a bad mood or tiredness as many think. It's a complex biochemical process that changes your brain, body, and even your personality. Today, I'm going to explain how stress affects your decisions, habits, and health, why excessive worrying is a real poison for success, and how to learn to manage this invisible saboteur. And believe me, this isn't just theory. These are real stories and facts that can change the way you see stress forever. Ready? Let's go. Imagine your brain as an office with different departments: logic, emotions, memory. Normally, they work together, helping you make decisions and learn. But stress is like a fire alarm that makes everyone drop their work and focus only on survival. When you experience stress, your body releases hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. They block the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for logic, planning, and emotional control. This means you can't think clearly, make balanced decisions, or learn new things. Instead, your brain switches to quick, instinctive reactions. Here's an example. You're preparing for an important job interview, but right before it, you get so nervous that you forget key points and stumble over your words. It's not because you're unprepared, it's because stress is blocking your brain. Chronic stress is even worse. It damages the hippocampus, the center for memory and learning. Because of this, you remember less important information and can't learn from mistakes. It's like your brain gets infected with a virus that slows down its work and blocks growth. That's why under pressure, people often make impulsive decisions or fall into apathy. They lose motivation and creativity, get stuck, and can't move forward. Stress literally blocks your path to success. To put it into perspective, neuroscientists have found that prolonged exposure to cortisol can actually shrink the volume of the prefrontal cortex and hippocampus. This isn't just a temporary fog. It's a structural change that can take months or even years to reverse. In fact, studies on PTSD patients show similar brain changes, highlighting how deeply stress can affect us. Moreover, stress doesn't just impair thinking, it hijacks your emotional responses. The amygdala, your brain's fear center, becomes hyperactive, making you more prone to anxiety and emotional outbursts. This heightened emotional state further disrupts your ability to focus and solve problems logically. Think about athletes or performers who choke under pressure. Their brains are flooded with stress hormones, shutting down the very circuits they need to perform at their best. This is why calm under pressure is more than a cliché. It's a neurological necessity. Stress doesn't just affect your mood for a moment. It quietly reshapes your daily habits and, over time, your entire lifestyle. When you're under pressure, your brain craves quick relief, and it often finds it in habits that feel good immediately, but harm you in the long run. Think about mindless snacking, endless scrolling through social media, or reaching for a drink to calm your nerves. These aren't just bad habits, they're your brain's way of coping with overwhelming stress. But here's the catch. These coping mechanisms create a vicious cycle. The more you rely on them, the more your brain expects them, and the harder it becomes to break free. Procrastination, for example, isn't just laziness or poor time management, it's a survival tactic. When a task feels too daunting or scary, your brain pushes it aside to avoid discomfort. Unfortunately, this only piles on more stress, making the task seem even more impossible. I remember a friend who worked as a software developer. The constant deadlines and pressure led him to binge on sugary snacks and lose hours to social media distractions. His productivity plummeted, and his health suffered, which only increased his stress. This story isn't unique. It's a pattern many of us fall into without realizing it. What's more, stress hijacks the brain's reward system. When you engage in these comfort behaviors, your brain releases dopamine, the feel-good chemical. This reinforces the habit, making it harder to resist next time. Over time, these habits become automatic, shaping who you are and how you live, often steering you away from your goals without you even noticing. Scientific research shows that stress activates the brain's reward system, releasing dopamine when you engage in these comfort behaviors. This creates a feedback loop. The brain craves the temporary relief, reinforcing the habit even if it's harmful in the long run. Interestingly, stress-induced habits often hijack the same neural pathways involved in addiction. This is why stress can lead to compulsive behaviors, from overeating to excessive gaming or substance use. Moreover, stress doesn't just create bad habits, it can erode your ability to form good ones. The prefrontal cortex, which helps with self-control and planning, is impaired under stress, making it harder to stick to healthy routines like exercise or focused work. Consider the phenomenon of decision fatigue. When stressed, your brain's capacity to make good choices diminishes, so you default to easy, often unhealthy options. This is why stress management is crucial not just for mental health, but for lifestyle and productivity. Stress isn't just a mental or emotional challenge, it's a full-body experience with serious consequences. Chronic stress weakens your immune system, making you more vulnerable to infections and illnesses. It triggers chronic inflammation, which scientists now link to a host of diseases, including heart disease, diabetes, and even cancer. In fact, research shows that people with consistently high stress levels tend to live about 10 years less than those with lower stress. Emotionally, stress rewires your brain in ways that make you more reactive and anxious. The amygdala, your brain's fear center, becomes overactive, heightening feelings of irritability, anxiety, and panic. This emotional turbulence can strain your relationships with family, friends, and coworkers, creating a lonely feedback loop where stress feeds on isolation. Imagine constantly holding your hand on a hot stove. That's what chronic worrying feels like. It drains your energy, kills your motivation, and stifles creativity. People trapped in this cycle often find themselves stuck in negative thought patterns, unable to break free and realize their true potential. Even more alarming, studies reveal that chronic stress can alter your DNA, accelerating the aging process at a cellular level. This isn't just metaphorical. Stress literally changes your body's biology. Sleep is another victim of stress. Without restful, deep sleep, your brain can't repair itself, and your body doesn't recover. This creates a vicious cycle. Stress disrupts sleep, and poor sleep amplifies stress. I know someone who struggled with insomnia for years due to work stress. She tried caffeine and energy drinks to push through, but it only made things worse. It was only after she sought professional help and changed her lifestyle that her sleep and energy levels improved dramatically. Chronic stress triggers a state called inflammaging, a low-grade, persistent inflammation that accelerates aging and contributes to diseases like diabetes, Alzheimer's, and cancer. This is why stress management is increasingly seen as a key factor in longevity. On the emotional side, stress can cause emotional exhaustion, a core component of burnout syndrome. Burnout doesn't just make you tired, it erodes your sense of purpose and connection, leading to depression and social withdrawal. Sleep disruption caused by stress is particularly dangerous. During deep sleep, your brain clears out toxins and consolidates memories. Without it, cognitive decline accelerates and emotional regulation worsens. This creates a feedback loop where stress and poor sleep feed each other. The woman's story is common. Many try to self-medicate stress with stimulants or alcohol, which only worsen sleep quality and increase anxiety. Professional help, lifestyle changes, and sometimes simple mindfulness practices can break this cycle. One of the most insidious effects of stress is how it drains your motivation. Stress lowers dopamine, the brain's motivation molecule, making it harder to feel excited about your goals or enjoy your achievements. When dopamine levels drop, even the things you once loved can feel dull or overwhelming. But stress isn't always the enemy. In small doses, it can sharpen your focus, boost your energy, and help you rise to challenges. This positive stress, or eustress, is what athletes and performers tap into to push their limits. The key is knowing when stress crosses the line from helpful to harmful. Managing stress effectively isn't about ignoring your problems, it's about awareness, balance, and using practical tools to keep stress in check. Meditation, regular physical activity, quality sleep, and setting clear boundaries aren't just trendy advice, they're scientifically proven methods that can transform your life. For example, a simple breathing exercise, taking slow, deep inhales and exhales, can reduce cortisol levels within minutes, calming your nervous system and clearing your mind. Regular walks in nature and exercise stimulate the release of endorphins, your body's natural feel-good chemicals, helping you recover from stress. Setting boundaries means learning to say no, managing your workload, and protecting your mental space. It's not selfish, it's essential for sustainable success and well-being. Remember, stress is a signal, not a sentence. When you learn to listen to your body and mind, you can turn stress from a hidden enemy into a powerful ally on your journey to success. If this video helped you see stress in a new light, please hit the like button and subscribe for more insights like this. Share it with friends or family who might be struggling. Sometimes one conversation can make all the difference. And don't forget to drop your own stories or tips in the comments below. Let's support each other on this journey.